Every morning, you stand in front of the dairy aisle and make a choice based on a single number, 0%, 1%, or 3.25%. We've been conditioned to believe that the smaller the number, the lighter the body feels. But there is an ironic truth. When you strip away the fat to save a few calories, your brain begins a desperate hunt for satisfaction elsewhere. We've been taught to fear that thin layer of cream floating on a glass of milk, turning it into a symbol of weight gain. But have you ever wondered why, after drinking a healthy glass of skim milk, you feel empty, driven to chase that missing fullness with a sugary snack?
I'm Edward, and today, QC Project Simple Things is deconstructing the story of percentages,
where we trade the integrity of our food for the labels on a carton. For millennia, milk was never a uniform liquid. It was a rebellious, living mixture where water, proteins, and minerals coexisted with tiny globules of fat. If you left a glass of fresh milk still for a few hours, you would witness a physical miracle, the heavier parts settling at the bottom, while the lightest fat slowly drifted upward, forming a thick layer of cream. It functioned like a quiet weather system inside the glass. Before the era of labels, people didn't buy percentage numbers. They worked with that very reality. If they wanted butter, they waited for the milk to separate. If they wanted a lighter drink, they skimmed the cream. Milk wasn't a fixed product. It was a starting point where the kitchen decided the final outcome. The turning point came in the early 20th century when the dairy industry decided to establish a new order. They stripped milk of its ability to separate in exchange for sameness. The price of every pour being identical is control. We have transformed milk from an ever-changing natural entity into dry mathematical figures on a label, where fat is no longer the soul of the drink, but merely a unit of measurement, disassembled and reassembled at will. For decades, we've mistakenly treated fat as an uninvited guest, but the practical truth is, whole milk is the closest draft to nature's original, where perfection is encapsulated in the number 3.25%. This isn't a random figure. It's a standard set in the early 20th century to ensure that whether at the farm or in the city, milk kept its promise of quality. Think of fat as a navigator. It doesn't just fill space in the glass, it carries flavor molecules the way warm air carries perfume. When milk touches your tongue, that 3% coats your taste buds, rounding out the edges and sending a slow signal to your nervous system. Your brain is not an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't care about dry calorie counts. It responds to texture and richness, the only things that make the body believe this is true nourishment. Setting pleasure aside, fat is essentially the solvent that keeps the body running. Our bodies are like machines that require lubricant to function. Vitamins like A and D are essentially hitchhikers. They can only travel and be absorbed into the bloodstream when fat is present. In this sense, whole milk isn't an extra calorie drink. It is a complete biological structure. Yet that completeness was shaken in the mid-20th century when a new narrative emerged, one that equated nutritional richness with the crimes of disease, turning fat from a navigator into a hunted villain. Around the middle of the last century, as concerns over heart disease began to escalate, society suddenly craved a clear target to blame. Instead of dissecting complex lifestyles, people chose to attack the most recognizable thing on the label: saturated fat. Humans have always loved simple answers. Remove a single ingredient and all problems vanish. Just like that, fat was branded as public enemy number one. The more you subtract, the more virtuous the food becomes. The richness of milk, once a symbol of abundance and nourishment, was suddenly reframed as a sign of danger. We began to learn to treat culinary satisfaction as a mistake that needed to be controlled. Although actual science eventually spoke up, showing that dairy fat isn't the villain it was made out to be and might even be protective, the wheels of belief had already turned too far. Once fear becomes a habit, people no longer seek the truth, they seek peace of mind. The dairy industry caught on fast. They stripped the fat and sold the remaining liquid as a safe solution. Low-fat milk was born at that exact intersection, not because it was better for you, but because it was a product designed to soothe the public psyche. It became a synthetic safe harbor for those who wanted to drink milk but were haunted by the numbers. Don't be fooled into thinking 1% or 2% milk is a lighter version gently filtered by nature. In reality, it is a product of disassembly and reassembly. The process begins by centrifuging every drop of fat out, then using mathematical formulas to measure and pour back a specific amount of butterfat. Low-fat milk isn't a naturally lean version. It is a calculated compromise designed to please calorie spreadsheets. There's a hidden truth that brands rarely disclose. When fat is stripped away, milk becomes thin and develops an unappealing bluish tint. To stop you from realizing you're essentially drinking protein water, the industry employs a technique called high-pressure homogenization. They force the milk through microscopic gaps at incredible speeds, shattering the remaining fat globules into submicroscopic sizes. The goal isn't to make the milk better, but to create a deceptive smoothness. These shattered particles coat your tongue more densely, tricking your brain into perceiving richness even though the milk has been hollowed out. We call this engineered palatability, where mechanical engineering replaces actual nutritional value. You feel a smooth texture, but in reality it's just a textural illusion born of machine pressure, not the natural abundance of the original milk. When sensory satisfaction is hijacked by mechanical pressure, your body enters a state of phantom fullness. Lacking the original fat globules, the primary signal for the brain to stop hunger, you finish a glass yet remain unsatisfied. Even the vitamins inside are no longer the real deal. Because natural vitamins A and D disappear with the initial cream, manufacturers are forced to add artificial versions to patch up the nutritional gap. Ultimately, the carton labeled healthy is the one that required the most mechanical processing. We are drinking a mathematical equation disguised by engineering, not a complete food. Skim milk represents the clinical extreme of a modern ideology, the belief that the more we erase, the more perfect the food becomes. By forcing the fat content below 0.5%, the entire physical structure of milk collapses. What remains in your glass is no longer a smooth flow, but a mixture of water, protein, and minerals that slides across the tongue without leaving a single anchor. For decades, skim milk was worshipped as a badge of discipline, the drink chosen specifically to prove that one could triumph over their own instincts. On paper, it looks ideal, boasting a 40% calorie reduction compared to whole milk. However, skim milk hits a wall that numbers simply cannot explain: the physics of viscosity. In food, fat does more than provide flavor. It controls sensory density. It coats the tongue, slows down the flow, and holds flavor in place. When you strip away those fat globules, the milk loses its viscosity, becoming thin and fast. This triggers a lack of cephalic phase response. The brain fails to receive the nourishment signal usually tied to richness. Even if you've consumed a glass full of protein, your nervous system still sends hunger signals. This is why skim milk is often perceived as chalky or watery. It's not a lack of nutrients, but the brain rejecting a texture that fails to provide biological satisfaction. Ultimately, the experience of skim milk becomes a form of suspicious comfort. Some tolerate this thinness because they've been programmed to believe that pleasure is a liability. They treat the lack of enjoyment as evidence of a healthy life, but skim milk serves as a sharp reminder that food isn't just dry chemistry, it is experience and fulfillment. When you intentionally trade completeness for a neat figure on a scale, your body silently detects the void, no matter how virtuous the label claims to be. The ultimate question returns: what is the value of food if it no longer provides the sensation of being fed? Our biggest mistake is trying to crown a single winner in the dairy aisle. The honest truth is, milk is not a moral test. It is a tool. We've spent decades debating which milk is better, forgetting that each was designed to serve a specific purpose in different contexts. Whole milk isn't an enemy of weight management. It's the smart choice when your body is in a fast growth phase, when your appetite is hard to regulate, or simply when you need true satiety to stop mindless snacking. It's for those who want milk to taste like milk, round, steady, and satisfying. In contrast, low-fat milk fits a different rhythm. It's for daily drinkers seeking a balance between taste and calorie control without feeling deprived. In nutrition, we look beyond just calories. Nutrient density is the ratio of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, to the energy a food provides. Whole milk has higher calorie density, but offers better vitamin absorption thanks to its fat content. Skim milk has lower calorie density, making it ideal for those who already get enough fat from other sources, like nuts or fish oil, but still want to supplement calcium and protein. Even skim milk has its place. Sometimes due to medical guidance, other times because someone genuinely prefers that weightless texture. Preference is not a failure of willpower, it is bodily data. What matters in the end isn't the percentage on the carton, but understanding the structure behind it. One is closer to milk's original shape, another is adjusted by measurement, another is stripped nearly clean. They are different tools for different days. When you stop looking at milk through the lens of fear, you begin to see the freedom in choice. I want to give you a powerful tool, the 10-second rule. When a glass of milk is placed in front of you, don't just read the percentages on the carton. Perform a physical audit with your own instincts. First, take a sip and don't swallow immediately. In an authentic glass of milk, fat is more than just richness. It creates a gentle coating that lingers on your taste buds, slowing everything down. Within those 10 seconds, observe the signals from your brain. If the milk slides away like water, leaving a thin or chalky sensation, it is physical proof that the natural structure has been dismantled. The soul of nourishment has been stripped away in exchange for a low calorie count. But if, after 10 seconds, a subtle sweetness remains alive and a slow signal of fullness is sent to your nervous system, you aren't just drinking a beverage, you're consuming a complete biological structure. In those 10 seconds, if your body responds with a sense of satisfaction rather than a craving for something more, you've found true value. If it passes through soullessly, the healthy label on the carton is just an empty promise, lacking the integrity your body actually demands. In the end, milk isn't a spreadsheet for calculating fear. It is a lesson in wholeness. We have spent too much time staring at 0%, 1%, or 3% labels, forgetting how it actually feels for the body to be nourished. Choosing a glass of milk shouldn't be a battle of willpower or a punishment of discipline. The simplest food is the one that remains closest to its natural form. Sometimes, embracing a bit of fat isn't an indulgence. It is a way of respecting the inherent biological structure of the milk. Choose the glass that leaves you satisfied, the one that makes your brain pause and smile, rather than a dry equation designed only to soothe the anxiety on your scale. If you enjoyed this story, tell us in the comments what simple thing we should explore next. Your idea might become our next episode.
I am Edward, and this is QC Project Simple Things. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the simple things in everyday life. Because what you see is never the whole story. There's always something deeper beneath the surface. See you in the next one.